Hello, world.
And we're live?
Yeah,
we're live? Okay.
That's old school.
All right, that's just the cue. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Rockets lost Game 7 to the Golden State Warriors. And with no Chris Paul, with the record being broken for the most threes in a row, 27 missed three-point shots missed in a row, Dave. We saw this coming. We said Golden State would win in 7. We thought Cleveland would win, and now it's the finals for the 4th time. This is Rocky 4 now.
I can't believe you started the podcast with the Houston Rockets losing. I thought we were going to talk straight LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers for 6 straight hours, Max.
Well, I figure I'm going to talk about them quite a bit this show, so I might as well knock the, Warriors defeated the Rockets, get that out of the way.
Okay, it's out of the way. No,
okay.
I'll play. No. Yeah, we both predicted it. The last podcast we said my locked-in was Game 6 for sure. Golden State and Cleveland were both winning, so we had Game 7s, and they were both. I loved them. There's nothing better than a series than Game 7. Everything's on the line, and I like how both home teams lost. That's kind of like cool and unique. 1979 was the last time both conference finals, way before both of us was born, so it was crazy. But yeah, Houston Rockets lost. No Chris Paul. Is that kind of where you want to start with first? Chris Paul, Houston was up 3-2. He pulled a hamstring, did not play the last 2 games, and Golden State took advantage.
Yeah, I thought the Warriors were going to win regardless if Chris Paul played or not. Of course, if Chris Paul played, you had a much better shot of winning the game. But it was kind of disturbing to watch, and I say it by this because it was so predictable. The first half, the Rockets came out energized, offensive rebounds. P.J. Tucker was rebounding. He was a rebounding machine. Then you had Capella playing great basketball, efficient basketball, catching insane lobs. So you were really happy as a Rockets fan through the first half. But everybody is saying it now. Hey, by the way, the third quarter is when Golden State makes a run. Like you say, coaching matters. They always make an adjustment, and they usually cut the lead. Well, this was worse than normal. Not only did we know that was going to come, because I knew if the Rockets had any shot in winning this game, they needed to be up double digits at half. And I thought, okay, they may blow a lead, but at least they're there with them. After losing 10 points, they're still there with them. They're not down 10. Well, it turns out not only did they blow the lead, then they go down 10 themselves. I'm like, okay, I did not see them getting outscored 20 points in one quarter. It was awful. It was terrible. It was like a book, and we knew what was going to happen.
Well said. If you're Mike D'Antoni, and I kept on yelling at the TV, call timeout. This is what baseball's changing, with your best relievers. They're like, oh, you have to pitch the guy in the bottom of the 9th. But if the biggest moment of the game is in the 7th inning with Bryce Harper up, you put your best closer in there to get him out, and then you can win the game at the end. But if you lose the game in the 7th inning, there's no reason for timeouts. D'Antoni was losing the game in the 3rd. The game was over after that. So, he had 2 timeouts saved for the 4th. Who cares? The game was over. You didn't need those timeouts. I just kept on yelling at the TV, call timeout. Just stop this momentum. Get James Harden rest. Set up a play. Even it's one of those things you just need a bucket. You need the ball to go in the hoop. You got to stop this off. Turnovers and Curry hitting threes, how he did 3 plays in a row. Just call a timeout. Did you feel that at all? Was it just me, or what do you think?
No, I definitely felt that. And okay, so Bill Belichick got just completely destroyed, criticized for benching Malcolm Butler, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the Super Bowl. And he's too headstrong, he's too egotistical, he's there to prove a point instead of the main thing is to win a championship. It wasn't fair to his players. Why aren't we criticizing D'Antoni the way we criticize Bill Belichick? D'Antoni, I understand your whole system and philosophy is shoot more threes, make more threes, and you win the game. Okay, well, let's just time out that philosophy for 1 second. They didn't make more threes. So I understand you want to take more, but once you go 0 for 27 from the three-point line, when you miss 27 three-point shots in a row, why not attack the paint? Call a timeout like you said. Adjust your game plan. That's when you're a coach. That's when you make adjustments. I feel like he failed his players because he was too set in stone on what his system is instead of adjusting to the game. And that's where I think he failed as a coach, and that's where I think he should get criticized. Yes, your system is awesome. You have a prolific offense. Once you're hitting, it's almost unstoppable. But you have to have some sort of backup plan. And I feel like if they would have had some sort of backup plan, yes, of course, Chris Paul wasn't playing, but Dave, back to your point, call a timeout, have some type of backup plan, and who knows, maybe we have a different discussion because Klay had 3 early fouls. They were missing free throws. You had an opportunity to win this game without Chris Paul, and I think they blew it.
Yeah, totally like a plan B. It's like
Yeah, they had nothing.
maybe let's post up Trevor Ariza against Steph Curry. Maybe let's have P.J. Tucker. Maybe let's get the ball to Clint Capella. Clint Capella shoots like 65% from the field. I know it's mostly alley-oop dunks, but maybe let's do more alley-oop dunks. Let's have some kind of plan B. We mentioned his name a couple times, Chris Paul. I want to talk about this. I feel so vindicated. My two boys and Chris Paul, that's what I feel so great about right now. Chris Paul, I've been yelling for him how great of a player he is it's been a year. It's kind of been Max and I's big thing back and forth, and it's awesome. We love it. It's a fun debate, and we love having sports debates. What we do. Chris Paul and the Houston Rockets were up 3-2. Maybe the greatest team ever, Max. Do you have the Warriors in the top 5 best teams ever?
Oh, of course.
You have them in the top 3 best teams ever?
I think, yeah.
Okay. They're the best scoring teams, 4 All-Stars, maybe 4 Hall of Famers. Curry and Durant probably top 10 all-time NBA players. Steve Kerr, the whole thing, guys. The Warriors are amazing. The Rockets were up 3-2, and they had a home game at Game 7. And I think the Warriors were still the favorite. I think I'm a realist. I think I'm smart about basketball. I'm not going to say, the Rockets would have definitely won with Chris Paul. But they would have a fighting chance. Maybe the momentum of Game 6 and with a lead and they had won 2 in a row, maybe. But at least Game 7 with Chris Paul's mojo and his smarts, making the right play, the right call. Maybe he would have called a timeout. Maybe he would have got that one play in the third quarter to switch momentum. Gosh, I feel vindicated with Chris Paul, and I'm all in with him. My stock is in. My stock is in with him next year. I don't know where he will play, and that we'll talk about this a little bit later. I got something for you, Max. We're not scripted, right? We're live. I'm telling you, I got something for you later in the show. But Chris Paul, I feel good about it.
Yeah, first of all, we're not scripted. Second of all, of course, Chris Paul was, I think, the most valuable player for the Houston Rockets. So to that point, you should feel vindicated. But that being said, I'm not trying to be a Chris Paul hater, Chris Paul critic, but this seriously is a blemish on his career. You could say is the injuries. You go to Houston Rockets, your goal is to compete for an NBA championship, and your goal is to defeat the Golden State Warriors in order to do so. Game 7 in your house, and you're not available to play because of your injury. And, of course, he can't control when he gets injured. I'm not saying he can. But it's not fair, but it's a criticism. He didn't show up in Game 7 when they needed him most.
Wow, so you have the opposite take. I think this is the greatest toll that Chris Paul's ever done. This is the furthest James Harden and D'Antoni has ever been, Game 7, Western Conference Finals. And you're saying this is a blemish to him?
Well, not a blemish as far as the series. I'm talking about a blemish as far as not being able to compete in Game 7 when your team needs you most because of injury.
Sure.
It's like
okay.
Injuries will hold players back whether it's fair or not. Like you look at Derrick Rose, he was a great player, and you could say he arguably had a shot to be even better than what he was, but injuries held him back. It's not fair to say that, he got injured, but at the end of the day, he got injured and it hindered his career. So you have to take into account injuries, and I think that's only right to do so with Chris Paul.
One of the biggest parts of ability is availability.
Yeah, with Joel Embiid, that whole argument with him is just half the time he's not available. So when he is available, he's a tremendous player, but being available, like you said, matters. And I think it sucks being a Chris Paul fan, as you are, and of course, I do like Chris Paul and I like his game. I really wish I could have seen them compete against the Warriors healthy.
Wow. Okay, very cool, guys. All right. Congrats to the Golden State Warriors. You are in the NBA Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James, Jeff Green, and Kyle Korver, and an end table. Congrats.
Gabe, I need this moment. Okay, so LeBron James is the GOAT. You hear? I've been saying it since day one. I'm going to say it every single time he wins, debating with people on Facebook. Listen, his 8th straight finals appearance, played 48 minutes the whole game. In year 15, we're talking about injuries, talking about Chris Paul. Steph Curry missed the season. Kevin Durant had a bad ankle, bad knee, right? Just a whole Klay Thompson was banged up. This guy is in year 15, 33 years old, not banged up, played all 48 minutes, 45 minutes the game before.
46, actually.
46, I'm sorry. Put
okay.
the whole team on his back. Listen, we can go into the LeBron debate with Jordan. That's not what I'm trying to do. We don't have the Professor John Radford on right now.
Yeah.
But that being said,
enjoy the moment.
Yeah, enjoy the moment. But what he is able to do, I don't think any other player could do. is bringing what you just said, George Hill, Kyle Korver, and then just like a table to the finals. And with absolutely no help, Jeff Green did step up big in that game against the Boston Celtics, but it's unbelievable what he's able to do. And it's just, we really are witnessing greatness.
Totally,
flat out greatness.
Totally agree. You said the buzzword of the podcast is witnessed. I remember when that was his thing, like the whole witness. I still got that T-shirt that says witness with the swoosh underneath.
Yeah, the wristbands.
Guys, let's just forget about the Jordan thing for a second. Let's forget about Kobe. Let's just have fun. What he did this season, this series, and this playoff run is just nothing but astonishing. Let's just have fun. Let's just smile and laugh and enjoy. I watched Game 7. I'm a 34-year-old man. I put the 2 kids to bed. I actually had a Bud Light, the new orange flavor. It's pretty decent. But anyways, back to the point. I was giddy. I was jumping up and down, laughing. I was so happy and excited for LeBron James. I'm a LeBron James fan. I've been it since day one when he played at Sacramento on ESPN, his first game ever. Google image that. Gosh, it was awesome. I loved it. I was rooting for him. I am rooting for him going forward. NBA Finals. I cannot wait. Gosh.
Now, people are talking about what is this his biggest accomplishment, and I think it's one of them, but not the biggest accomplishment. I think it's obviously when he came back 3-1, 2016 against the Golden State Warriors.
100.
And then you could say, okay, then this is really impressive. You could talk about the 07. He's had remarkable historic moments. And to say this is the best one, I'm not going to say this is his best one, but it's definitely up there. Now, what he can do in the finals is what is this a finals preview?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about the finals. Just real quick, I'm going to interrupt you. You said, and I kind of wanted to get to that, about one of his greatest achievements, right? And you talked about it. You said 07. You said, to me, I 100% agree. It's 3-1 Golden State, the greatest team ever. Number 2, it never gets talked about. Max, did the Golden State Warriors, did they repeat yet?
No.
Did the San Antonio Spurs with Tim Duncan, a dynasty of over 15 years, did they repeat?
No.
Exactly. The Miami Heat, when LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh, I think they had the best team, but it doesn't matter. They repeated. It's so hard in sports to repeat. The Patriots couldn't do that this year. They lost to Nick Foles, a backup quarterback, and the Eagles, who hasn't won a Super Bowl in 40 years. It's hard to repeat. I don't think LeBron James gets enough credit for what he did in Miami, and especially going back-to-back winning championships. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's a legitimate point. And then the team that he went against was the Spurs. And then he had the Oklahoma City Thunder with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a legitimate point.
Amazing back-to-back. It's back-to-back championships, beating 3 MVPs. I know they were young, but still beating 3 MVPs and then beating the dynasty and Tim Duncan. It's like, come on, why does no one ever talk about that?
And what's ridiculous is 8 straight finals, 8 years this guy has been to the finals. That's people's lives. That's ridiculous. Jason Tatum was a kid, and he was in the finals, and he's still doing it, and my locked in remains true so far. LeBron James will go to the finals every year until he retires.
My son Colin is about to be 6 years old. Every year that he's been alive, LeBron James plays in May in the NBA Finals. It's amazing. Let's just talk about it. Let's have fun with it. This is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 46 points the game before, just back-to-back threes. Rob and I were going crazy and hooligans. Everyone was looking at us, and everyone understood why we were screaming, so it was okay. So we were allowed to scream, but it's just remarkable to see what he's doing. Now, that being said, we're going to the NBA Finals. LeBron James last year averaged 35 points and a triple-double, plus Kyrie Irving, plus Kevin Love. And you can argue, it's a similar roster, but just the addition of Kyrie Irving's huge, and I think he averaged 20-plus points in that finals as well. He's going into the finals with a worse roster.
Agree.
No Kyrie Irving, no legitimate help. Kevin Love is questionable for Game 1. And it breaks my heart to say this, but I don't think he defeats the Golden State Warriors. Now, am I saying he doesn't have a shot? No, I believe he has a chance. Whenever you have LeBron, you have a chance.
Absolutely.
But if I had to bet my money, the Golden State Warriors win just because the overwhelming supporting cast. You look at Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry, they outscored the Rockets by themselves in Game 6. LeBron James, if he doesn't score 35 points, the team's in trouble. They only scored, I think, 80? It was 87 points
I know, they
in
don't
Game
score
7.
Points. They don't.
And LeBron James had 35 points with 9 assists, so he accounted for over half their team's points.
It's 2018. Like, the NBA wants you to score a lot of points, and they just don't do it.
Yeah, so it's not looking good for LeBron. I was crossing my fingers the Rockets won just so he had a legitimate shot at winning a championship this year.
Okay, Max, I got a question and a theory for you. What you want first?
Go with the... that's tough. Go with the question.
Okay, question. Kevin Love, are the Cavs better in this series without Kevin Love? And why I ask this before you answer, Kevin Love is a liability on defense, especially against the Golden State Warriors. And how Jeff Green plays and how they can switch and how he can defend. I know Kevin Love's great, guys. He's an all-star. But honestly, these 5, 6, 7 games, maybe 4, hopefully not, will the Cavs be better without Kevin Love?
No. And here's why. Because Kevin Love stretches the floor out, and that's what LeBron James needs to penetrate. Golden State Warriors don't play great individual defense, but they play great team defense. They play smart basketball. Yeah, Klay Thompson's a great perimeter defender. Draymond Green's a great defender, but Curry's not known to be a great defender, neither is Kevin Durant. But within the system, when they play team defense, they are great defenders. So when LeBron James penetrates, he needs someone who can spot up and shoot, and he needs another star in his team, somebody who can put up 25 points. I'm not saying he will, but just the possibility of that happening, you need anything you can get. But what's interesting is people think, okay, either Jeff Green or Kevin Love, who do you start? I don't understand why don't you start both of them, and here's why. I think you do need Tristan Thompson for defense, and he's not bad guarding perimeter players. He puts a hand up, he's long, he can move his feet, he's mobile. So I think you do start Tristan Thompson just for the effort, the hustle, the rebounding, and the defense. I still think you'd keep Kevin Love in there so you're bigger. You don't want to play small ball with the Warriors. You want to be physical and beat them up in the paint. So go big, especially if Tristan Thompson can guard the perimeter. Kevin Love's already a defensive liability. Then you put Jeff Green at the 3. Then you put LeBron James, and then your number 1 is George Hill. So Jeff Green can guard Kevin Durant. You're long, you're bigger. LeBron James doesn't have to guard Kevin Durant on defense. He still has another star on his team with Kevin Love. And then you have a ball handler who can bring it up with George Hill. I think that's the lineup you go.
It's not bad. Before I get into the theory, that's not bad, and I kind of want to rebuttal a little bit with it. The only thing, I do like it, here's the con to it, is the bench. That means the next 4 players off the bench, guys who they play, is Larry Nance. He can back up the 5 or the 4.
Yeah.
But with Green not coming off the bench or Love coming off the bench, you're really small. Your other 3 players are Jordan Clarkson, point guard 1-2, J.R. Smith, you're starting 2 already, and then Kyle Korver, who's their 2-3. So I just think you need, and with that team on the floor, I don't think the spacing and the shooting would be great with having Jeff Green.
He can shoot, though. Jeff Green can shoot.
Better than Kyle Korver or J.R. Smith?
No, but Kyle Korver is too big of a defensive liability. Like,
Agree.
I think Jeff Green, his offense may not be as well, he's better in transition than Kyle Korver. Like, I think his offense, if it's little less than Kyle Korver,
it's different.
Yeah, he has a bigger gap defensively with Kyle Korver.
Oh, that I totally agree. And you can't play. This is one thing I'm telling you guys. I think I'm the smartest human being in the world. I'm just going to throw it out there. Ty Lue, you cannot play Kyle Korver and Kevin Love at the same time. It's not a white thing, guys. I'm not going there. It's a they can't play defense thing. You cannot play Love and Korver on the court. If you do, I guarantee you, if you listen to this podcast, be like, wow, Dave nailed something. If you play Korver and Love, they will get demolished on defense.
Another interesting thing, and I agree with that, but another interesting thing you brought up is the bench.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James will play 43-plus minutes almost every game.
Okay.
I guarantee that.
Sure.
So he's going to be in the lineup. They don't really have a great contribution off the bench regardless. So I think you do the best what you can with the best people you have. It's almost, okay, what's your best 5? Put them out there to give you the best shot. If someone can contribute, you can. But they never just substitute like a whole group. Like sometimes the Warriors can just leave Steph Curry out there and take multiple stars out because when Iggy's healthy, you have him. You have a couple like pivotal bench players. They don't have anyone they can really rely with. So you're sacrificing your bench, but you're sacrificing your bench with something that wasn't really that good. So you're just contributing more to the starting lineup. You know what I mean?
I understand. My point is, it's hard to do that because now you're big. So that means you would have LeBron guarding Klay for 43 minutes. You just can't do that. He needs to play the 3 or the 4. He needs to be on Durant, Draymond, or Iggy. Especially those 2 guys he can coast off of, and then we need 20 good minutes of him guarding Durant. If you put him at the 2, guys, Clay is amazing, running around picks, shooting shots. I like it, and I think that lineup could work in spurts. Like, I'm not saying like I said, there's pros and cons to it, and I think a huge pro is being big. If Love is shooting, you can stretch the court with it. And Jeff Green's playing really good, so you have to ride him. Ride the momentum of a hot hand. That's how you always do in basketball. So I want Jeff Green to play more. I really think you start J.R. Smith. I think he can – he's an underrated defender.
He is. He's just not reliable as far as offensively.
I agree. It's one of those things, too. He's good at home offensively and bad on the road. So maybe you start him, and at the 7-8 minute mark, you put in Jeff Green. So now at least that gives you 4 minutes of JR guarding Clay, and then you can put LeBron. So the first 4 minutes, you say, hey, LeBron, guard Draymond Green, let him shoot. Like almost rest on D and help, of course, on D get rebounds. He's an awesome rebounder, especially against Boston. But then you put in Jeff Green and you say, LeBron, we need you to play D. Pick it up. We need you to guard Clay because if you let Clay go for 2 minutes, you see how many points he can score, Max.
See, then this is fun because now I can easily say, why not LeBron just play point guard?
Woo!
And put now, so you have LeBron at point, put J.R. Smith at 2. He can run around with Clay. And then you have Jeff Green, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson. LeBron's going to bring up the ball regardless. There comes a point in time where he says, okay, just get me the ball, run out of the way. And I almost think that's the best way to go. And now he has size on Steph Curry, and that's the best lineup. And if I'm Ty Lue, I say why not? Why not switch it up on the Warriors? Do something that they're not predicting. If you go with the traditional lineup, they can study tape, they can study film, and yes, you have the risk factor of what if that lineup doesn't gel? What if it doesn't mesh well? Well, then you switch it back up. But I just think, what's the worst that can happen? Because you're not likely to win this series, so why not try something to give you a chance to win it?
Great point. The point was actually a good point, not great point, because you said Ty Lue. I think it's his name is Mr. LeBron James. You think he's the coach?
Good point.
Okay.
Good point.
All right, Max, you ready for this one?
Hold on. LeBron, then you get exactly what I'm talking about because you have the best basketball IQ.
He
okay,
does.
Now you can go.
He's awesome. LeBron James, the GOAT. All right. Here's my theory. The question was Kevin Love. Here's the theory. And, Max, I'm going to ask you a couple questions to start the theory.
Sir, yes, sir.
I will run.
Okay.
All right. Do you think LeBron James is staying in Cleveland or going?
Going.
Okay. Name me top 3-5 teams that you think that LeBron James might land this offseason.
I will gladly do so.
Thank you, sir.
In no order, I will say Houston, Lakers, Philadelphia, 76ers. You said top 3?
Yeah, top 3. Okay, name me 2 more.
2 more.
Okay.
If I had to just kind of squeeze and stretch the imagination,
sure.
I would say you have to say San Antonio is a possibility with Greg Popovich if Kawhi Leonard stays.
That's a good one.
Let me just stretch it a little bit more. Let me think. I said Philadelphia. I said Houston. I said Lakers. I said San Antonio.
Popovich.
I don't really see him. Let me just for you, I'll say Knicks. How about that?
Okay, cool. I appreciate it, man. New York Knicks get the boat team. Paul's a free agent. Melo, you never know. Okay, here we go. My theory. So LeBron James wants to go and win championships. And Max, I think he's staying. But here's a theory for you.
Okay.
If he leaves, there's 30 teams in the NBA. I just asked Max, who's maybe the most insightful NBA person I know.
Thank you.
He knows the bench. He knows the players. He knows who's going to be a free agent. I think he can see good players before the season started. Guys, watch the Greek Freak. He's going to be awesome. He took that step up. Max knows his basketball. I'm giving him tons of credit.
Thank you.
One team that, Max, you didn't say, one team that no one has said, and I am throwing it out there. I'm throwing the theory. Max, let me have it, and then I'll veer with it. The Boston Celtics. No one has mentioned the Celtics for LeBron to land. Why? They beat him in the Eastern Conference Finals, so they're right there. But LeBron beat them. It's not like Durant is joining the team that beat him. It's almost the opposite, right? So I think he would look as a hero, not a villain. 2, he lands in the East. He stays in the East. We don't want to go in the West. Golden State's amazing. It's a dynasty. Houston's awesome. LA's on the rise. Portland, the Pelicans are really good. Utah, Donovan Mitchell, the West is stacked. The Minnesota Timberwolves is awesome. So many great teams, okay? So let's stay in the East. Why is no one saying Boston?
Okay. Oh, is that your spiel?
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Keep
I
going.
got more. One reason, maybe people say Kyrie Irving. Right? Max?
Yep.
Okay. But Dwayne Wade and LeBron, they went back and forth. They got together, left, got together. And maybe you think it's bad blood. Maybe. But even Kyrie knows, hey, it's hard to win championships, and maybe LeBron for a year or two, I can win another title or two. Maybe you want to be with an enemy to win championships to beat another enemy like in Golden State. So I'm just throwing that out there. But now here's even the bigger theory. Here's me putting, when people are playing checkers, I'm playing chess. Kyrie Irving, about to be an unrestricted free agent next season. Does Boston want to give him $35 million a year from an injury-prone point guard who hasn't? Kyrie's not Boston. David Ortiz is Boston. Larry Bird is Boston.
Brad Stevens is Boston.
Brad Stevens, Paul Pierce, Boston. And you ready for this one, people? I think already Jason Tatum feels like Boston. I think he's going to be there for a decade. Kyrie, to me, doesn't feel like Boston. He's very flashy, dribbles both hands. He's in movies. He's not Boston. Grit, hard work. So, and you said he might go to San Antonio because Greg Popovich. I think, and I think you think the same thing, Brad Stevens is the next young Greg Popovich. So he's never had a great coach. We just made fun of Ty Lue. He had David Blatt from another country coach him. He's never had this coach of Brad Stevens. So why can't Boston say, okay, I'm going to trade, and this is just throwing it out there, and it can be bigger or less. Here's one. You can throw Kyrie Irving to the Knicks where he wants to go for Tim Hardaway Jr. Oh, wow, the Knicks would accept that in a heartbeat, right? Maybe their draft pick. Or if you want to even do something bigger, how about the Spurs and Kawhi Leonard? Why can't Boston say, hey, I'll trade you Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving for Kawhi Leonard? I bet you San Antonio will jump on that in a second. So now, if you're Brad Stevens, you come back next year with Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Terry Rozier, and get another backup point guard. That's very easy, like a veteran. And LeBron James, and then a possibility of just say a Kawhi Leonard? Max, I think I'm playing chess. I think this is something. I don't know why it's not talked about. Why is Boston, a top 3 team, top 4 team in the whole entire world, not a available option landing spot for LeBron James?
Wow. Gave it a couple seconds because it deserved it. Okay, there's just a whole bunch of what you just said. Mouthful of what you just said. Let's break it down into different categories. 1, you're not insane, and 2, I agree with you.
Thank you.
I always think adding LeBron...
Mic drop. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night.
Adding LeBron James to your team, you significantly improve, and he's proven if you're in the East, it's a ticket to the finals. So that I do agree with. Now, here's the thing. I always mix them up. Not Kevin McHale, it's Danny Ainge, right?
Yes.
Okay, now with him with the Boston Celtics, he runs the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
He is always about youth and the future. And I think he's attached and loves these young guys where he may not want to take that away. With Brad Stevens' system, everyone shares the ball. Love him or hate him, of course, I love LeBron, but he is ball dominant. So he pretty much is the system. Now, do I think he can always play in any system? I do, personally.
Me
I
too.
think Brad Stevens can make him, but that may be a caveat in your whole theory here is because, hey, we have young youth players who move the ball and share the ball. If we take LeBron, you're getting rid of some of that young players. LeBron's already 33. Then it becomes a LeBron show. That's just one speculation of it.
Just real quick to rebuttal just that one. It kind of reminds me of Kevin Durant going to Golden State. Like Golden State was a younger team. They have a system. They pass the ball. But look, Kevin Durant's such an amazing top 5, top 10 talent in the world ever. And you just add him to the spot, and I think he's smart enough to take it. And I think LeBron is smart enough to take it. And also, if Boston can win a title or two now, you still, and maybe, like I said, maybe it's trading Jaylen Brown, maybe not, maybe trading Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, and you keep both young guys. So now you win a championship with LeBron James, 1 or 2, and then Tatum takes this team over, and it's all the youth. So I don't want to let go of the youth. I don't want to just dismantle this team.
Okay. Secondly, the Dwayne Wade departure and LeBron, like that split up was different than Kyrie Irving and LeBron. Because one, LeBron left, and they are like brothers. Kyrie Irving's more of a younger brother, and they never had that same relationship him and Dwayne Wade do.
Great point.
And Kyrie Irving also left because he wanted to be the man.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Wade ended up coming back to him because he knew his role. Even when LeBron was there, he said, hey, this is your team. I'm taking a step back. He had self-awareness. Kyrie Irving doesn't have that type of self-awareness that Dwayne Wade does.
So ship him out of town. Ship him out of there.
And again, I agree with you. I would too. It's LeBron James. And now the last kind of major point here in this is LeBron James. Would he want to go to Boston and stir all of that up? Would he? And now I don't think LeBron James, I think he's past that stage where he worries about what people think of him.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, he does not like to be a villain. Like, that's one thing that's for sure. And him going to the Celtics, I don't think it would be a villain portrayal. Like, I don't think he'd be portrayed as a villain.
I don't think so.
But he's going to a team, and they have to mix it all up with the Kyrie Irving history. But to your original point, I think it's definitely something, and I would do it, and if I was LeBron, I would consider it. But for some reason, I just don't think it's going to happen because of all those factors.
There's a lot of moving parts, and, of course, a lot of big stuff. When the first time they went to Miami, guys, Chris Bosh to Miami was not even on the radar and wasn't even a glip. And then all of a sudden he went there. Maybe, and that year Dwayne Wade was maybe going to go to Chicago. Dwayne Wade was still in his prime. Chicago was home. All of a sudden Dwayne Wade stayed. Bosh came there, and then LeBron came. That's how they all went to Miami. So I know there's a lot of moving parts, but sometimes I just think it's so funny. And I'm one of those people. I've never thought of it. I'm driving for an hour and a half today. I'm like, guys, why not LeBron to Boston? Like, they had the best culture, the best winning style, the best coaching staff. I love their team, and I just see the future. Everyone says, hey, stay east and not go there, but go to maybe Philly. Guys, Philly and Boston played each other, and Boston beat them. So I think Boston's better than Philly, and you still have Kyrie and Gordon hurt. And I think, so just imagine, they're not there, guys. Kyrie and Gordon wasn't part of this run. Trade them both and, get the cap for LeBron. Just imagine adding LeBron James to this Boston team. They win it easy. They win the championship easy.
And it's a win-win either way. If you're Boston, you're like, okay, but I don't want to get up my young players. You don't have to give all of them up. And so this way, when LeBron retires, you still have youth. You still have Jason Tatum. Hopefully you still have Jaylen Brown and maybe Terry Rozier.
Yes.
So you still have youth, and then if you're LeBron, you want a great coach, you got it. You want youth,
yes.
You got it. You want good ownership, you got it. You stay in the
go.
East, you got it. You have a winning franchise, you got it. So I definitely think it is noteworthy. It's a legitimate theory. I agree with it. But do the Boston Celtics do it? Do you think they even try to recruit him?
Yes, I really do. I just think it makes too much sense when you really start to think about it. If I'm Boston, and I know this is going to sound crazy, I don't re-sign Kyrie Irving. I think Jason Tatum's the best guy in the team, and I want Tatum, Brown, Horford. I like their bench of Baines, Rozier, Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris. I just like all these players, and then you can add Gordon Hayward back to the team. There's just so much you can do. Kyrie is going to want $35 million, and he deserves it. He's getting it. If I'm a Knicks fan, I want the Knicks to get Kyrie Irving. So it's going to happen. I just don't know if the Boston Celtics want to give it to him. So it's a real big question. It's a real serious, look in the mirror kind of a moment. I think it's something to be talked about.
Wow.
Okay? Hey, I thought about it. Let's just get into it real quick, like a real finals. I don't think we should give our finals, hey, this is the be-all, end-all. How about let's just throw out Game 1. What do you think it will happen Game 1 of this year's NBA Finals? The fourth time in a row, Cleveland versus the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, can I make this my locked in?
Oh, go with it, cousin.
All right. So,
it's your show.
Okay, not going to predict who wins. I kind of already gave it away on who I think is going to win, but LeBron James has never won a Game 1 in the finals. Never won Game 1. That's really interesting if you think about it. But I think he wins Game 1. That's my locked in.
Wow. Gosh,
I think he wins Game 1.
I was going to say the same thing.
Are you serious?
Dang it. Yep.
That's my locked in. I'm not saying he wins the series. I'm not going to go into detail with that. But I think for some reason, Golden State Warriors, they're on this high of beating the Houston Rockets. They won 7 games.
Yep.
I guarantee you, of course, they know LeBron James is great.
And they're not playing great. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're not playing like they're used to playing.
In the back of their heads, they know this Cleveland roster isn't as good as Houston. I think they take them a little lightly, and Cleveland wins Game 1.
Wow. I kind of was going to say something of the same thing, and we don't want to say we're not going to go into the ending. My locked in is the Cleveland and Golden State series will be closer than what people think. I love Jeff Green in this series. Brown and green, good colors. Cleveland has a shot. I think they steal one in Golden State. And then it's all up in the air. I cannot wait, guys. NBA Finals 2018. Love the show. Golden State beat Houston. Cleveland beat it. They beat Boston. Hey, guys, go to Fit Meals.
I was about to say, I want to say a special thank you to Fit Meals, myfitmeals.com. Dave, this is your famous number slogan.
844-FIT-4-U.
One more time now.
844-FIT-4-U.
Guys, it's the best meal plan. Dimitri will hook you up trying to lose weight, gain weight, eat healthier. I can go in detail for days now about this, but saw some couple documentaries. And
I love those docs.
I'm really ashamed of what I eat. Besides, of course, Fit Meals has put me back on track. You guys do some research. Fit Meals is great for you. And then also, special thank you to Pep-Boys, right, Dave? Pep-Boys is the best. Hook
Absolute
you up with
best.
your car, any issues.
They're on International Speedway, guys, right across from the racetrack. You can't miss them. They've been there for over a decade. Definitely go in, see our man Richie. Tell him the Locked In guy sent you. Anything for your car. Tires, air condition. It's getting really hot out there, guys. Make sure your air condition's charged. They have a brake deal going on, too. And then everything inside the store. They got stuff for your stereo. They got air fresheners. They have stuff to clean your car, wax your car. Anything you need for your car, a battery. Guys, go see our guys, Pep-Boys, Richie in Daytona Beach, Florida.
And last thing I will say, in the description of this episode, there's a bunch of tags. Make sure you check that out to follow us on social media. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Locked In with 2 N's, 5 stars. No, Dave, you can't rate us 4 stars. It has to be 5 stars.
I'll take it.
And you have to leave a comment. Please leave a comment. We truly, truly appreciate the feedback. That's it, Dave.
And like always,
stay locked in.